This is another sign of the times, an analysis and a commentary. Here is the real news. Pakistan in crisis. Pakistan lurched between crises on Friday with its military chief, General Kayani, dismissing talk of a coup and canceling a visit from a top American general. A sign of Pakistani fury at the United States over airstrikes that killed at least 26 soldiers is far from abating. Concern has been growing in Pakistan and abroad with the two crises, a political struggle that has pitted civilian officials against the military, and the fraying relations with the United States are distracting from deeper threats to stability, primarily the faltering economy and the festering Islamist insurgency. The Pakistani Taliban offered a sharp reminder of their potency on Friday, killing one soldier and abducting 15 in an attack on a paramilitary post in the country's northwest, the police said. The Taliban militants threatened to kill the captives, but the focus in Pakistan is of talk of a military coup. The rumors were set off a day earlier when the Prime Minister warned publicly of a conspiracy to topple the government. He was careful not to openly accuse the military of plotting a takeover, but he did say that it must answer to the elected government and could not operate as a state within a state. It takes very little to stoke rumors of a coup in Pakistan, where the military has ruled for more than half of the country's history. Even now, nearly 4 years after the restoration of democracy, the military remains Pakistan's dominant institution, and it largely dictates foreign policy and national security matters. But the military has made no apparent moves to assert control over the government, despite the widespread perception among its ranks and the broader population that Pakistan's squabbling political elite is incapable of taking on the country's challenges. Most analysts and Western officials have concluded that General Kayani remains committed to democracy, for now at least, as long as the military retains its behind-the-scenes power. The Army will continue to support democratic process in the country, General Kayani said in remarks to troops stationed in the northwestern tribal areas where the Army is struggling to contain the Pakistani Taliban, an offshoot of the Afghan insurgent movement. According to a military statement, the statement said that General Kayani, on a recent visit, told the soldiers that talk of a coup was being used as a bogey to divert the focus from the real issues, but he emphasized there would be no compromise on national security. The military did not elaborate on what General Kayani meant, but his remarks were seen as a reference to allegations that Pakistan's ambassador to the United States, backed by the elected government, had sought Washington's help in heading off a coup and asserting civilian control over the military in the wake of the American raid that killed Osama bin Laden in May. The allegations are particularly inflammatory because many Pakistanis see the United States as an enemy, despite the nation's long-standing alliance. So again, in some kind of way, we are already at war with Pakistan. A Pakistani-American businessman has claimed that the ambassador wrote a memo containing the appeal and asked the businessman to convey it to Admiral Mike Mullen, who was then the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Mr. Haqqani has denied writing the memo, and the civilian government has backed him. But he was forced to resign, and his passport was confiscated upon his return to Pakistan in late November. Suspicion has since spread to President Zardari, who this month had admitted himself to a hospital in Dubai in the United Arab Emirates, complaining of chest pains. His sudden departure helped to incite the latest round of coup rumors, though he has since returned, and he began working again on Friday. The military has signaled that it believes the memo was the work of the ambassador, Mr. Haqqani, and possibly the president. It has urged the Supreme Court open an inquiry, a decision the justices are weighing. A defense analyst and former Army officer said that the Prime Minister's statement had strengthened the military's conviction that the government was behind the memo. He warned that any attempt by the elected government to remove General Gilani would lead to a mutiny by the military's rank and file, who have little faith in civilian authorities. Things don't look stable at all, said a former senator from the governing Pakistan People's Party. In other words, lurching from one crisis to another. Meanwhile, relations with the United States appeared to have soured further. Pakistan's military, at the order of General Gilani, canceled a meeting with the Chief of the United States Central Command, General James N. Mattis. A senior Pakistani official said the meeting, to have been held Monday, had been called to explain the findings of the American investigation into the November airstrikes that killed 26 Pakistani soldiers at posts on the Afghan border, said the official. The Pentagon has acknowledged mistakes before and during the airstrikes, but it also said that the Pakistanis had erred. Pakistan's military responded by calling the investigation short on facts. Yes, this is the real news of the times, and is a very ominous sign of possible things to come. This also might be the possible process or path to Revelation chapter 18. It's also another sign of the end times, transition days, which is a time of extraordinary changes, happenings, and events. Everything that must change quickly or rapidly, and for the better, because it's about what kind of world are we leaving to the future generations. Again, Revelation chapter 16, verse 8. And the fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun, and power was given unto him to scorch humans with fire. 9. And humans were scorched with great heat, and blasphemed the name of God, which has power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory. 10. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom or nation was full of darkness, and they gnawed their tongues for pain. 11. And blasphemed the God of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds. 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings and leaders of the east might be prepared. It's time for these prophecies to become manifest. Everything is connected, and everything is numbered. It's also called fate or destiny, and these are more signs.